Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my props. You ain't got no soul, you lacking the spirit. You talk out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I've been really happy you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and when I'm synonym, so if I ever win again, it's no I did the minimum, I didn't have to sell my soul. Oh, yeah, please don't play no games with me. It was never about the fame to me. They needed the best, so they came to me. Whoa, who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the vibe, say, yeah, that's me. Make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. My girl's so proud of your boy when they ask, is that your man? Yeah, that's me. And if I'm taking a shot, I don't miss. Who knew I would be at the top like this? And no one made my goals for me. But I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be.
Hello and welcome to the climax of our Neo experience. It is, of course, the big 58-minute plus 2-lap final at the marvellous Nemo Raceway. All the talk has been about the track. So what I thought I would do is go and have a look at the track. And now you can go and have a look at my look at the track. Hello and welcome to the track walk for round 3, event 5. Anyway, it's the RCGP here at Nemo Raceway. Now, normally I would start these by running down the main straight going, oh, it's a main straight. But no, because the Nemo Raceway is unique. It is a schizophrenic track. This side, an interesting sort of AstroTurf. We'll have a little bit of a look at it. This side, wow, the roughest, cratery, broken, busted, wooden, muddy surface. It's got, there's a hole there that's bigger than my foot. There's some old concrete. Here there's a multi-surface bit with oil and dirt and shavings. And it's rough and ready and old school. And then, oh no, we're back onto the lovely little AstroTurf again. So a lot of the track is surfaced with this all-weather, this new all-weather compound. If you come down and you get some of the dust on it, it's a kind of tight plastic pile to it. So what we're going to see is a lot of cars have been in practice, like from grip rolls, so we have to be very careful. You get so much lateral side grip. But as you can see, I'm sure Zach can, you kind of sea of black and red, and there's a lot of very flat sections, a lot of touring car sections, and the jumps that they are, if you look at the jumps, so this is a tabletop over here, so they are constructed jumps of metal. You've not got, it's not mud, it's a metal jump. There's another big double there, which has got a choice of either high or low. You've got a kind of upturned fire grate there. So the jumps in this infield section, this section of AstroTurf, they are all man-made. But all the jumps here on the other old-fashioned marvellous section, they're real, they're mud, they're dirt, they're very, very rough. Now, what does this all mean? Basically, this track is a tremendous setup conundrum for the top drivers, because what you need to run on a lovely bit of Astro, or sort of Astro, is completely different from what you need to run on this this very rough and multi-surface element of the track. Who will be able to master that? Who will set up properly? Who will become the winner at the Nemo Raceway with this unique, strange, schizophrenic, weird combination of surfaces? Well, the only way you're going to find out is to watch all the qualifiers and all the finals, and then we'll see who is the master of the mixed surface. Well, understated as ever, I think, there. And look, we've now joined the great and the good. There we are, down in the pit lane. So that's great. But we're going to talk to mechanics rather than necessarily to just drivers. Mr. Rumble, you are with Brandon's car. It's been a bit of a challenge so far, isn't it, this week?
Definitely. I think he's pretty au fait with American tracks, but this is like no other. But he's definitely getting there. And it only matters at the end. So that's the important part. We've trying some things, and here we are.
If you look at the front tyre here, Zach, you can see is what they've had to do to try and strip out grip. They've taken off pins from both sides, and then they've glued this side. Now, I know why you've done it, but just tell everyone there why you've needed to do all this work to a front tyre. In fact, basically wearing out perfectly good tyre you've paid for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we could get a refund on the pins, I think we would, but sadly not. Just to basically just get rid of some front-end traction. We can't go any higher in compound because then we just lose forward drive. So just to get rid of that side bite but still have forward drive, just dremeling the pins off, so basically it goes into a slick, and then the slick on this is actually still pretty grippy. You could have no tread, no pins at all on it, it would still have some grip. So gluing that sidewall then just gives there no grip on that rubber at that point. So no front end snatchiness, but still enough forward drive to have some pace to put it at the front.
Thanks, Mark. So we go another car further forward. This is Lee's very different front end. You see, this is the low end front of the M1. They've taken a bit less off than this one. So a quick word with Brandon. Brandon, so you've decided you want no front grip at all?
Yeah, all of it gone. No, just, we do all that stuff to the tires, and it really helps. It makes the car way easier to drive, just way less side bite and stuff like that.
So you're not really worried about tyre wear either, because the tyre wears out, great, less grip.
Yeah, actually, as it wears down, it usually gets quite a bit better until it's just bone slick. So I'm hoping it does wear quite a bit, because I think it would help me throughout the main.
Great stuff, thank you, Brandon. So with Davide, let's see how much Davide's taken off his tyres. Not quite so much. So you're a bit more fond of front end than Davide.
Yeah, I had no steering in the last qualifying, so I dreamt not a lot. Yeah.
Oh, was that why? Because you had it wasn't a very good run the last qualifier. It was just you had too much understeer.
Yeah, I mean, I had to steer before the corner because I had no steering, so that cost me the mistake. But yeah, we put new tire for the final, then we'll see. It's long, 60 minutes.
Do you think these will last, or will they be slick by the end?
I don't know. We tried the last tire, and we made like 1 hour and 10 minutes, and was pretty good at the end. I mean, lap time was lower. But yeah, like I said, no steering, but...
I'm going to ask you a question that's got nothing to do with today, but something I've always wondered. I'll get Zach to come. No, Zach, come around this way. Because I've never understood why you're all drilling holes in the back end of your wing. Because obviously the idea of this part is to get the downforce. So why does everyone drill holes in that area?
I mean, maybe we made this like before the Worlds, I think in 2017 at IBR Padova. Because we need more steering, so we tried to make like one hole and then was better, then 2 holes and was better, so we tried everything and was much better, so from them.
Because you're not very fond of your wing, because you won the Neo with virtually no wing.
Yeah, that was a strange one, but yes, I was faster without, so.
Good stuff. Thank you. I always wondered that one. I wondered why that was. Wandered around down to the JQ. No, sir. No, you are a mechanic. You are the obviously James's mechanic. I'm taking James's dad.
Yes, James's dad.
James Laveau. So, first experience of the RCGP pit lane. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, it's really great. It's brilliant. A whole lovely, really good meeting. Couldn't miss it for the world. Actually, it was really good fun. Really, really good fun. We've actually worked on the car so much. So, it's been a very hard track to get your car to set it up to go racing, because we've never raced on this sort of surface before. So
but you've not gone for the glue, you've just gone for the Dremel.
Yeah, Dremel. Yeah,
no glue?
No glue on this one. No glue.
There's always a choice one way or the other. Wandered down, just a bit further down. We get some look. So this is the Tom Roban car. That's kind of a bit off the side and a bit. He's gone very limited. Obviously, far too much steering for Tom most of the time. Obviously, he just wants to fall off the track. That's Clement's dad. Again, obviously this car not too keen on grip either. Hang on. Let's talk to our setup guru. Let's see how much dremeling young JQ has done for the Pecco evening car. Yeah, you're at the 2/3. You've gone for not quite so many spikes off, but still the super glue.
Yes, but we didn't Dremel them, we cut them.
So, okay. What's the difference?
Probably nothing.
So let me have a look. So I obviously went to your setup clinic on Friday. So I'm expecting quite thin bars. Is that right?
Yes, 2.2, 2.4.
So and quite stiff.
Very stiff shock oil, like mix of 1,000 and 2,000 weight.
I don't know. Hold that. Just to see if I can get the diff to work. Oh, yeah, that's quite gooey. That's less gooey. Oh, you're good at this, aren't you? So what's the oil in the diffs then?
It's 100,000 in the front. I think 60.
You should know. You're the mechanic.
Yeah, but we've been changing them now today, so.
Good stuff, thanks. And so finally we'll go to the man who's on pole. Let's see how much tyre he's got on the car. He's got it's quite a lot of glue there. He's wasted a whole packet of glue, I'd say, to be honest. And a little bit less. He said, David. So David, obviously without Adrian or your dad, have you made all your pin removing and glue decisions yourself?
Yeah, everything myself this weekend except for refueling the car, I guess. But luckily we have Scott over here helping me out this weekend, so it's good to have him ready for the pit stops and together with JQ, I think they're gonna make like a teamwork here with Pecco and me in the main. So hopefully we won't be on the same spot on the track all the time.
Great stuff. Well, as I literally look down the pit lane, they're seeing the shade because outside it's getting hot. So here we are with the grid for the endurance final. 58 laps plus 2 minutes. Sorry, 58 minutes plus 2 laps. 58 laps plus 2 minutes would be way different. Not really better or worse, just different. And that is your grid. So Dave Ronefalk from Sweden is your pole sitter, as we saw in the Super Pole. Juan Carlos Canas is second. Elliott Boots third. David Ongaro starts fourth. Lee Martin fifth. I think Davide's quite so high up. I haven't seen this grid till now. Lee Martin fifth. Hampus sixth, and it's the Invisible Speed duo of Hampusberg, Alex Anchetin and Pecco even unlucky, faster than that. Then we've got Brandon Rose, Tom Robag, Clement Boda, and at the back, James Pavot.
So we'll do a driver intros when we bring him in.
So, plenty of points to play for in the endurance final. Who's your bet? Who's your money on? Who do you think is going to take this one at the Nemo race? It's very warm out there. I just look at my we've got some inside temperature gauges saying 34. My open air was saying 27. That is not normal in the UK by any means. I'm not sure if Jay, I've got a green from Le Pavot yet, so he's actually checked in. So Ongaro getting fourth in qualifying, a little bit of a surprise. He had a couple of bad races, but I'm sure we'll look at the points. We've been very close amongst many of them. But he is starting up the front, which is the key thing, because you don't want to be starting in the mire in the middle, because it'll be very, very hard to get past traffic. It's a lot of drivers. We look at Ronefalk now. A lot of drivers will be looking to see if they can make an early break, because as we've seen from Brunson in the RC2 final, if you can get out ahead in clear air, it's absolutely fantastic to get those few laps of limited pressure. You're not fighting against 10,000 other cars, and you can build a lead which can last for a very long time, even with faster cars behind you. Certainly starting out position in 8th is Evening. Evening's been much quicker than 8th throughout the day. He was almost won the first leg and got into an incident with Juan Carlos Canas on the last lap. He was leading in the second leg when he lost his receiver pack, and the third leg, I think he did quite well. I think he got a fourth, but it's down in 8th is not where it should be. Brandon Rose, he also looked quick in clear air in the final round, but he's had a nightmare of breakdowns and problems, so he's out of position as far as pace is concerned. Zanchetti was third overall yesterday, currently starting in the 7th. But if you're really honest, the three cars that have had the pace are David Ronefalk, Juan Carlos Canas, and Pecco Ivonen. Ongaro looked quick and then it all went away, but we had a chat with him, of course, in the pit lane, and he's saying it's because he'd taken off the he'd just gone too little grip at the front, so he's having problems with his steering. He was understeering badly. So the car's now in the pit lane, and very soon we'll get to meet the drivers for the endurance final. A couple of cars a little bit recalcitrant and sitting in the wrong area. So it's any minute now. The cars will do their demonstration lap. Here comes Mao walking down the pit lane, stalking the raised area. Cigar, has he got a cigar in hand? I think he hasn't got a cigar in hand. That's unfortunate. No cigar. And the first car away is David Ronefalk, the winner yesterday. Let's meet David and see what he's doing in the Endurance Championship race.
For the endurance race, it's all about being there in the end, getting a good start, of course, but just not freaking out too early.
Not to freak out. So yeah, Ronefalk, well, he's in fantastic form, and therefore you kind of think that is what's going to carry him through. Next onto the track is the number 12 of Lee Martin. Lee Martin driving the new Agama N1. How's Lee going to approach the endurance final?
For the endurance final, I'm going to work on the setup beforehand to make sure the car's easy to drive, because 60 minutes on this track is going to be hard work. So stay consistent, stay clean.
Yeah, and I have to say, I hope he put some suntan lotion. Look at pink in that vignette we just did there, so hopefully he's not burnt by now. But Martin, yeah, enjoying driving the new car. Just needs a stroke of luck, and the podium could definitely be on the way. And next up is the man who's been the most impressive of all the newcomers we've seen in any event, I think, in RCGP. It's number 22, Pekko Ivonen. Let's say hello, Pekko, and how are you going to approach this longer race?
For the endurance final, I will be keeping my car on the wheels, so hopefully make some places.
Hard to argue, but Ivonen has been super quick. Not necessarily super lucky, and sometimes he's made a couple of mistakes, but the actual ground speed of that JQSM machine, exemplary. Now, one of the favourites and the most controversial driver here through his incidents in one way or another is number 23. It's Juan Carlos Canas from the S-Works team. Juan Carlos, how's the endurance race going to be tackled by you?
For the endurance race, my plan was, like always, save tires at the first and push at the end.
No, you might not need to save tyres in this one. With consensus that saving tyres not necessarily required in this race, so you may have to think of a second or third concept of how to do well. That's Canas, definitely going to be involved at the end. Next up is the 27, the Frenchman Tom Robin. Tom was centre of all the controls yesterday, but hardly heard of him today. Tom, tell us something about your approach to the endurance final.
My plan is to stay back because you have 60 minutes, it's too long.
That was short and to the sweet. 6 minutes is too long. All right, Tom. Well, it's as long as it's going to be. That's how long the race is. But, yeah, Tom needs to put a bit of a... He's not had a great weekend so far, but it's his chance to put it all right. And next down will be the 28 of Brandon Rose, all the way from Texas. Brandon had a difficult weekend, but he's got a big chance in the endurance final. How are you going to approach it, Brandon?
Just keep it clean. Keep within the lead pack. Don't lose touch with that lead pack, and just make sure you're with them. And in the last 10 or 5 minutes, that's when you really start trying to push, really start trying to make gains up to the top spot.
That's quite a detailed plan, actually. Well done. So Brandon with the most detailed plan so far. So from about minute 48, we'll start focusing on Brandon. No, seriously, good chance to do well if you get a little bit of luck. And next up, it's our second JQSM, fully recovered from his broken leg. It's Alex Zanchetin. Alex, endurance final? How are you going to cope with that then?
For the endurance race, my plan is to be consistent and safe for the first part of the main, and then try to attack everything to be at the top.
Well, the problem is it sounds like the entire field's going to suddenly go hell for leather in the second half hour, so that could be interesting. So that's Zanchetin from JQSM. So our next driver down the ramp and to meet, it's number 31, it's Clement Bowler, the young Frenchman. Had a good start here. He's not always had the results he wanted, but he's certainly not looked out of place amongst the RCGP elite. Clement, how are you going to have a look at the endurance final?
Endurance final, it's don't make mistake and push my best also, but no mistake is the most important for me on the endurance final.
Quite right. So Clement, known better for his 10th scale, but looking particularly good here this weekend at Nemo Raceway. And next up is the 46 of Hampusberg. Hampus, the other member of the Marco team. Hampus, how are you going to run in the endurance final?
The endurance final, I think it's, if I get a bad start, it's just to keep calm and work it through it. It's so long time, so much things can happen.
So starting from the concept going to get a bad start, well, hey, yeah, it's a reality, I suppose. Berg looked particularly impressive in Italy. He's struggled more getting the car set up to this very high grip circuit, but thinks he's found the key over the last couple of races, and he was fourth in the final qualifier. Now it's the 58. It's Elliot Boots. It's the man who has won 3 of the qualifying rounds, but how is he going to look at the endurance final?
For the endurance final, we're going to have to get off the line pretty good. try to stay clean, stay out of trouble, and you know, just run consistent laps and make sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, Elliott was disappointed to drop a place during Superpole. He qualified up into the pole in second, ended up third behind his teammate. But even so, he's looked fast all through the weekend, but it is about being clean at the start. Next up, it's the 77 of James Pavot, the Guernseyman, racing for Team Beach RC. James, the endurance final, your thoughts?
In the endurance race, my plan is to try and drop a pit stop on everyone else to gain some time and make it to the end without having any problems.
Two great tactics, but now you've told everyone what you're doing, so that's got the window, isn't it? Now, James, he's having a great time. He's a really good guy, and him and his father both enjoying the race. And last but not least, it's number 94. It's Davide Ongaro, who you can never count out of anything. Starting fourth, Davide, tell us the wisdom of a world champion for the endurance final.
So for the endurance race, of course, it's 60 minutes, so yeah, I wanted to keep it clean and then have a good start and then try to fight with the others and also try to win, for sure.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Davide's change in setup will bring back the pace that was disappearing during the day. And I think our top four are going to provide us with an exemplary race on very tricky conditions where any mistake not only will cost you time, but because you're so many grid positions, it's an absolute nightmare. Right, so this is where they're all going to get quite chuffed because they actually get brought out in a second to the grid, not to the gate. They get to the grid for this one. Everyone's pumping each other up. Justin will call the cars. Just realised that Zach is down for the gate start that isn't going to happen, which is quite amusing. So out they come to the grid. There is Ongaro Senior walking out to position 4. Behind him is Hampus's father in the Marco shirt. And we've got John from Nemo, John Hazelwood, with Lee's car. Vero, the mechanic for Elliott Boots. It's Juan Carlos's dad as well. And I'm not quite sure who's doing the work for. Dave at the front. We're about to get underway in the endurance final for event 6. On the way, there's a clean start for the first 4. Elliott just goes, and Ronefalk's facing the wrong way, and that's the disaster for him. Well, he's got away with 4th in the end. He was turned backwards and round, but the leader's Juan Carlos Canas. Then it's Boots, then it's Ongaro, and then Ronefalk. So Ronefalk was unlucky and then lucky at the same time. And I think he's got Brandon Rose behind him in 5th. So Ronefalk be disappointed to be in 4th, but it could have been a lot worse. He's facing the wrong way in front of all the traffic at the first dirt hairpin, but luckily he got knocked back in the right direction again. So now it's a case of calm it down, see what we're going to do. Oh, and out rolls Boots. So it's Canas in from first. Then we got Ongaro, then we got Ronefalk, and then we roll over with Rose, Boda, Berg. Boots lost 4 positions there. And a bit of an axe at the back. Right, so this is good news for Canas. He's been chased hard now already by Ongaro and Ronefalk. And Ongaro and Ronefalk is where our focus should be at the moment because they're a little bit closer than Ongaro and Canas. So they come onto the screed section up and over the ancient Moorish mud and then through the jump. Now, coming down here, we've seen a lot of incident there towards the end of the race. We try to brake hard into that left-hand turn. Very, very rich as the throttle goes down from Ongaro. But, of course, these engines will kind of lean out as they get hotter and hotter and hotter. And they're kind of not running super hot at the moment. So Canas has kind of just lost a bit of time, being caught up. Still, it's Rose in 4th. Clement Boda in a very excellent 5th. Then Tom Robat. Then Hampersburg. Boots is down in 10th. So this is a terrible start. And Pecco, my tip for the top, is in 11th. So some of the people in the middle of the field had a big problem. They've got an hour to sort it out. But the problem is there's so many cars in front of them. Right. So we're just settling down. Just about to complete the first 2 minutes. It is Canas, Ongaro and Ronefalk. And I don't think you'd have got a massive payout from the bookies. You said these are going to be the top 3 at the start. Ronefalk certainly appears to have a little bit more straight line speed than Ongaro, but actually seemed to almost get some aero wash and get moved out. A little bit of a train is now falling behind Brandon Rose, who's still holding on to 4th, but that's what you get. You get trains because it's so hard to pass. I think Boots is very frustrated. Saw him just absolutely going the car off the end of the... difficult bump there for Ronefalk. Actually going the car at the end of the tabletop. But let's sit down and watch this one develops. So, Canas, Ongaro, Canas 2/10 quicker that time round. Ronefalk trying to go tight, and he has done, isn't he? He got the tight corner. You can see he's got a little bit of extra pace on Ongaro at the moment, but we are on differing tyre strategies, differing fuel strategies. It'll be interesting to see. Again, Canas has tended to stop more often in races, but that certainly in Portugal, which is supremely hot, that might happen, but it could be slightly different now in a cooler, very different circuit, a lot less requirement of basic horsepower, as Ronefalk tries left, tries right to get past Ongaro over the secondary of the old-fashioned Merlin clay sections. Onto the bricks, powers it down. Look, you'll see, look at that, look at that! Oh, the power, the speed of the Corsa-Tec engine there. Absolutely gained from nowhere, about a yard or a metre, let's be metric on it, but not enough to get up the inside without the potential of a massive accident for both of them. So discretion again was a better part of valour, but that's something that David knows he's got in his locker. But he couldn't get much close to Ongaro, and he was. He didn't manage to get past him, and they are slightly slowing each other up and letting Juan Carlos get away. So we are 3.5 minutes in, and Ongaro will lose another yard or two in the second half, and this time round I've got the inside. I think he had a chance there, but Ongaro just going a little bit drifty wide. That first berm, which is Scott's Pipes berm, it's so important not to get wide, because you just can't get the car back down the hill again without losing time. Just seen Pecco crash by my feet, so it's not going well for Evening in this final so far. Ronefalk all over the back of Ongaro. Then let's say Ronefalk's much quicker than Ongaro, but it may well just be the fact that it's the old adage, it's easier to follow than to lead. As they come down, this just looks like the world's best touring car race when they come blatting down the straight like that. Absolutely flat on the carpet. A lot of this track has been taken control. I personally really like it. It's very different. It's presented a massive challenge to the drivers, some of whom have just not been up to it, or they have been up to it. They've taken a long time to get up to it. And I think anything that challenges drivers, anything that challenges them to change what they do, makes them really think, and they've all been really thinking every round, is a great thing. I know the traditional, the modernist want to have 3 dimensions or even 4 dimensions. It's got a chance now, but it's just almost there for Ronefalk. I'm not sure they get it on the secondary part. It's a lead of 2.5 seconds now for Canas. He's making hay while these two fight. I know the traditionalists want to have more 3-dimensional elements to the circuit. They want to go up in the air. They want to have a quad and a triple. But that's not off-road racing. That's just a type of off-road racing. Whatever off-road is, it's not tarmac. It's not flat. And this is 3-dimensional. It's multi-surface. And it's still off-road. Now, Ongaro has a good lap here. He's managed to put a little bit more of a gap onto Ronefalk. But the problem they've got, though, is that Canas is getting away from both of them. And the lead, well, this time went down by 700s, but it is 2.5 seconds. And we are now running at about, coming up to 6 minutes. So there'll be 6 minutes in about 20 seconds. And we need to start thinking at some point. Oh, 2 wheels on the barrier for Ongaro, but no. And Ronefalk continues behind. There's a big gap, of course, behind these two. Now Hampusberg in 4th. That's impressive. And then it's Lee Martin in 5th and Tom Roban in 6th. Brandon Rose and bounced away. Woof. That's the change of position. And it's, let's see how that happened again, because it up and over comes, we've had seen it before, just go a little bit left. And in fairness to Ongaro, he made quite a medium mistake and got away with a very limited penalty for it. So Ongaro, and instantly, Ronefalk is onto the tail of Canas. I mean, this is ridiculous. The man he's gained up so quickly. I'm not sure. Canas must have made a mini mistake as well, because that was 1.9 seconds when they crossed the line. It's at least a second closer now. So it must be a mini mistake from JCC. Le Pivot lets them both through. But Canas gathers himself together as they fire it down the straight and turns sharp left and over that single. But the gap did come down by 1.1 seconds. But it came down to both of them, though, even though Ronefalk looking a little bit quicker than Ongaro. And Canas now. I was looking following David's car there as he came exit the fire grate. That was absolutely pointing for a massive disaster against the barriers, but luckily he put the brakes down and gaining up. So he's seeing the sort of pace that David's got, though. He's just wasted a second by getting out on the dirt there. But he's got a lot of pace. Now, must be getting close to someone thinking about getting fuel. And it'll be probably the S-Works that'll get the fuel the first. just because on the whole, Canas has run slightly thirstier than the Corsa-Tech. The Reds engine of Canas has run slightly thirstier than the Corsa-Tech engine of Ronefalk. But, you know, different courses, different horses, who know. What's happened to Ronefalk? Ronefalk's luck has finally run out again. What's going on there? Let's take this one in. We've got our camera in the pits. We can tell you what's happening. Did he just flame? Seemed to stop in a very weird way. A lot of fuel went in there. It is running again. And that is going to put Ronefalk significantly out of this race, to be honest. So what on earth was going on there? Died, but why did it die? It's a lot of fuel went in from the gun, but it means that Ronefalk... Keenan's in the pits with the news.
Yeah, it looks like Ronefalk ran out of fuel. He was out when he came in, apparently, according to his pit ben.
So that means that it must be getting more consumption he thought he was, because they had measured this before, and that will be a surprise and a shock for Ronefalk, who is now over a lap down. Our top two, though, let's get back and find Canas, because it's now about the top two again, Canas and Ongaro. Martin, 22 seconds behind in third. The top two actually blasted away. Because Ronefalk is so quick, there's a very good chance he could recover to like fourth or fifth if he actually keeps the thing fueled up. But let's find our leader. Let's look for Canas. Where is he? Let's find that the Spaniard with the yellow wheels. There he is, going through the touring car section, about to finish another lap, crossing the line now. Obviously, in all that excitement, missed his first pit stops. We can get an idea of where he is in relation to Ongaro. Ongaro is 2.6 seconds behind, so I think they may have just stopped. So Ongaro, much it was in round one. Don't forget, in the endurance heat in Italy, it was a bit later on that Ronefalk had a problem. He actually had a cut fuel pipe, which gave him a problem. And we ended up with this very intense battle between Juan Carlos Canas and Ongaro. A bit wide there, but it's fine for Canas. And you see a blue car in the background. That is Ongaro. The gap is it's gone up by half a second. So Canas has come out this second session absolutely fired up. He's had a bit of a let-off because the person who was looking quicker than him has had a problem. Ronefalk's now made another mistake. So Ronefalk obviously is once again king of frustration, as the car just died on him, much earlier than he thought it would. There's the expectant fathers waiting for their babies to arrive and want to be fed. So Canas leads still. It went down again, the lead last time, and Ongaro picked up a couple of tenths. There, you see Ongaro in the back of the shot just about all the time there. Let's switch to Ongaro. Just drop back one. See what he can do. That's not very useful when someone just drops a car in front of you. Not sure who that was. Oh, that may have been Berg who got in front. I'm not quite sure, but that's obviously a problem for Hampus, I think. So, JCC went really wide. Canas wide there, and so they're right together, coming off the back of the berm. He went wide, and that gave another chance to gain a few tenths. But in fairness, I think what happened there was Ongaro may have backed off a little bit, thinking, yeah, I won't do that. So first and second now almost together, and we are just 12 minutes in. Ronefalk is obviously trying to climb back. He's a long, long way behind, and he's been making the odd mistake as the frustration must be boiling through his bones. But these two, the Italian Ongaro is now less than a second behind Canas. They go over the man-made, well, all tracks are man-made, but that's the metal, and I should say single tabletop. Ongaro getting into a rhythm, which is always dangerous for everyone else. Can't really close on Canas, but then he hasn't really been losing either. 10th here, a couple of tenths there. Traffic, I think he's lost a little bit in this one. Remember, it's 9 tenths last time. This time 1.1. Yeah, look a little bit further. But obviously, as long as you can have both excellent acrobatics there from the Marshal as they try and clear a problem for other cars. And he flew over the top of Ongaro, so we have to give him a bonus point there for top marshalling. So Boots now is up to third after his terrible start, but he is 21 seconds behind these two. And there's Martin, there's Berg had a problem, there's Zanchetin, Evenen, Rose, Boda. Ronefalk getting close to Boda. So he'll then climb up to ninth. Then Le Pavot and Robin has had a problem. We lost Robin a while ago. He's now 7 laps down. Up and over goes the Italian with the associate. Now they're right together again because there appears to be a bit of a traffic jam ahead of. I think it's Brandon Rose is right ahead of Canas here. Let him through now, and that's good work. I think he then realised he got called for both cars. They're both together through the flat session. So Ongaro now getting closer and closer and closer to Canas. There's more traffic, and more traffic gets out of the way. But, disappointing for the traffic there. And they've lost a place in that removing of traffic. That may have been Rose nipping past. No, it wasn't. It's Pavot another lap back, so that's fine. Okay, so good work so far by Justin to make sure the drivers know that the leaders are coming through and therefore clear out the way. I mean, it's not such a problem with Canas, but, with Ongaro, there are several other cars painted very similarly. And Canas has gone over and lost the lead. Canas goes over, loses the lead, coming into what we've really seen very few instances here. So I think that's an example of how this track's been blowing out on the mud sections of the clay, because he's just took a dive in. So now we've got a result of a change of the leadership, and Ongaro now leads. Second place is Canas. He's got a car in between them. So Ongaro on the flat section. And it's a lead of 1.4 seconds it was. Now Canas is going to have to try and catch it back up again. There is Ongaro, concentration with his kind of ski sunglasses, those kind of bowler, not monochrome, ultra with a chrome look into it anyway. They look quite cool. So he's seen both his rivals make mistakes and put him in the lead. And in fairness, this isn't the first time that's happened. There's something to say to being very, very quick and metronomic. There's Canas just behind him with the yellow wheels. The gap is 1.3. Let's have a look at this. Let's do the normal thing and look at the following car. And we've got Canas here on camera. So drop back one, Ash, and we'll pick up Canas. So get into another stage. We're coming up to 13 minutes. Coming up to 16 minutes. So we're actually not even a third of the way through. And we've seen a lot of action already. Was that Ongaro going for fuel? Did I see? Yep, Ongaro's taken fuel. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the stagger. So the interesting thing it means is that Canas actually is running longer on fuel. So the next person to stop will be Canas. So it might be nice to see his pit stop. So Canas will be stopping in a second onto the multi-service where he rolled a couple of laps ago. But the interesting thing is Canas getting better mileage with the Reds engine and the, I think it's LRP, I think it is, that you can call me wrong if it's not that, which is run by Ongaro, as used to be. Now, will Canas come in this time? Yes, he will. So up and over, through and down, waiting to be received by Veraco. There he goes, picked up, his dad's got him. Bung in the fuel, get the car down, and away it goes. And in ahead of him, but not by far, is, and I would say that is honours even on those pit stops. The only issue has happened is they're right in a tumultuous amount of traffic, which include Evening. Evening has now let Canas go. Just so you know, there's Zanchetin, I think there's Robin, and at least 3 other cars ahead of them. In fact, Boots now is virtually a lap behind at 32 seconds. I'm not sure whether he's had another minor problem, but they are going to be lapping third place quite soon. Ongaro, actually, no, hang on, those times are wrong at the moment because they haven't reset from the previous lap. So they do now. No, Boots is nearly a lap behind. Sorry, I do apologise. I was right. Stop second-guessing yourself here, Nick. You're right. So as they come over, Canas has got past Evening. The next is the yellow wheels of whom I believe, I think that's Boda, but it might be, no, so it's Robin, sorry. So I think it's going to get Robin next, would be the next one. A lot of traffic here. It's interesting how this track has separated the men from the boys, and the spread of these cars is not really it's the same sort of spread of talent we've always had, but the spread of the car speed has been much greater. It's a longer lap than Italy as well, remember. And that was indeed Robin who was overtaken just then. Next victim is Alexander Chetin. I would say, that's worked. Oh, yeah, just about worked okay for Canas. And Canas is a little bit nearer because the next car, that white and blue car, that is, of course, the Ongaro machine. So got a bit closer that time around. The net effect of those massive amount of traffic, as the traffic's clumped together, is that Canas gained a few tenths. So they're now running down off the mud onto the carpet section that's now got very much a racing line. It's going to have a blue groove, which is what you see in all carpet tracks. Next victim for Canas, well, actually, the next victim for both of them is going to be Lee Martin, and then it's Hampersburg. Oh, that's going to cost him that's going to cost him at least a second. That overrun got himself onto the pipe. Therefore, once the four wheels are off the ground, you can't steer anymore. And had to wait to fall off the pipe. Couldn't brake, so overshot, and that's lost him about a second. That minor incident. Very difficult that first berm corner because you have to stay low, or you are just going into the boondocks with no chance of coming back. Since Anchetin just rolled and even got past him, so that's a change of position for 6th and 7th. Ronnefout's got up to 8th, and he's only 4 seconds behind Evelyn, so there's a good chance you're going to climb. And it's important, of course, for this climbing up because Ronnefout needs the points for the championship. That's what you remember. It's the championship he needs the points for. So even though he's not going to win, he's not going to come. Well, I don't think he is. He's not going to come second. He needs those points for the championship. Now the car in between, the car next to be attacked by Canas, I think is Brandon Rhodes. I'm going to have to wait for it to come underneath me again. There's a car between him and Ongaro, and the gap has gone out to 2.2 seconds. Canas just a little bit slower the last couple of laps. Ongaro pulls a small wheelie, and then he comes through. Yeah, he's got the Martin. It's Lee Martin with the new Agama N1, which is the next person who wants to get past. Have to be honest with you, it was a good run through there, and Canas has gained back a few tenths. Right, next car for both of them will be Hampersburg. Of course, he's the teammate of David Ronnefout. He's obviously going to have no idea what happened to Ronnefout. He won't know if Ronnefout's doing well, badly, or indifferently. But the fact is, he now needs to be the next person they're going to come. Now, you can see now it's quite a lot easier to get Ongaro and Juan Carlos in the same frame because the last lap was a definite gain for Ongaro. So it's a definite gain for Canas. So Ongaro moving forward. And they're right together again. So what was a 2.2 second gap, and we now are on 20 minutes. So we are sort of over a third of the way here. What was on 20 minutes was a long gap. It's now a short one, and they're right together. and Canas try. Oh, Canas is going to get. Yes, he's got him through there. So a change of position, exactly the same place as it changed before, but for a different reason. Ongaro went too tight. He took the barrier too much and just lost momentum, and it was just enough for Canas to come around the outside. So that's 1-1 for errors at that top left-hand hairpin on the old dirt. So now it's swapped around again, and Canas leads. I'm getting horrendous, well, very pleasant deja vu from the race in Italy, where this is what we saw for the entirety of the race. A mistake swap and mistake swap. But interesting, though, Canas now is able to get a bit more of a gap on Ongaro. The ebb and flow of this race is remarkable. Boots third, 28 seconds back, so he's managed to stay pretty much on the pace of these guys. All of a sudden, Ongaro's seems to have lost a little bit of pace. I'm not sure if that's just theoretical. He lost 1.1 seconds there on Canas. So Canas found himself a little bit quicker. Gained, in fairness to Ongaro, he's gained a couple of tenths there. So let's switch to Ongaro as we're playing cover the follower. Struggled off the fire grate that time, and now he's almost like after being annoyed with himself for a lap for losing that lead, he's now got the hurry up on himself. And following down, you'll see Canas on the left-hand side. We turn and going round the sharp left onto the pure carpet touring car section. And moving on. So it's key. So there we go. And they're now trying to get past James Pavot. Pavot gets out of the way. So the lead now is a couple of corners. It's more about pushing up again to round about 2 seconds. Ongaro's got a bit of a... Oh, he's lucky there. Got 2 wheels up in the air. He's got a couple of seconds of movement off the screed, and they turn round and back onto the clay section. So Ongaro, that was a nice little hop turn, has at this moment, we're back in another part of the track, we're back in another part of the phase of this race. We are 23 minutes in, and Canas just looks a little bit quicker. I mean, he didn't gain much that time. In fact, he lost 800 of a second, but he's just seeming to be a little bit happier. quite strange actually, because normally it's easier to lead than to follow. But this track and both these drivers have found it easier to lead. So they've made a mistake. Yes, Canas. Not sure if Canas has. Canas has cleared Berg, so he's now lapped everything up to 4th. Berg leading the Mayarko charge. I mean, Hampus really does. Yeah, he has come into his own. He's into fuel now for. Taken through for fuel. There it goes. Craig Drescher. Oh, that's going to cost you some time. He didn't want to do that, so that's a second or so lost. He's got a bit luckier with the traffic there, who are both really kind to him. So he's going to have to put these two guys in his Christmas card list, and that's Brandon Rose and Hampus Berg, because and Rose got down, because they could have been a little bit. They didn't really need to be quite as accommodated as they were. But that pit lane exit is going to cost him at least a second, plus a second and a half. Now, obviously, we expect Canas to come in, and he is. So Canas comes into the pits right now. Watching that pit stop. Up, his dad doing it on one man. Fires in. Oh, a little bit longer than you expect. He gets out, and he's going to have a nice little lead because, of course, Ongaro made a mistake. Now, the net effect of that really was, I think it was probably a slightly faster stop, if I'm really honest, as far as the in-fuel drop for Ongaro, but then he loused it on the exit, which ruined the whole thing. So he could have gained a second there, but he didn't. He didn't get anything. So you'll see Canas. There we are. These two battle out. Let's go down the pit lane and hear from Keenan with all the action.
Yeah, it looks like Boots suffered a flame out as well, run out of fuel. His pitman had to come run him in and very got him started.
So it's our second leading driver to hit fuel problems. Yeah, Boots has dropped out of 3rd and dropped down to 8th, which means that they've now lapped everyone up to 2. It also means that Ronefalk's now in 4th. Now, I'm not sure he's actually in 4th. He's on fuel stack, but he's in 4th and only 1.5 seconds behind his own teammate. So it's looking like if he gets to crawl back, he may well crawl back as far as the podium, which is a pretty impressive comeback, because he might have only made the podium if he'd run the entire race. But what's also happened whilst we were taking that report is Ongaro has got back past Canas. So that has been the 3rd change, and I assume that was on another error. So it's now Ongaro leading Canas as they come into the berm hairpin for the 3rd time. So we lost Boots, but a double whammy for S-Works. At the same time, Canas lost the lead. And suddenly, as soon as Ongaro's in the lead of the other car, which happens to be Canas, he's able to pull a little bit of a gap. So nowhere near halfway yet. And they are, one Carlos. He's off the track. Oh, he's going to have to take an extra shot there. Now that is the biggest accident we've seen. This could be the defining moment of the race. Even with half it to go. Oh, it just took off wrong. Bubble down, then look, it goes roll into the grass. And he had to take probably a 2-stroke drop there to get back out again in golfing terms. But that's not great for Canas, and he's 6 seconds back. So now that's happened, he's got to reconsider what he's going to do. He's got half the race to do it. But how do you get a 6-second gap back? In the meantime, Ronefalk has got past Berg and into 3rd. And he's scored 38 seconds back after that flame. So he's on a bit of a recovery drive and a half. It's Berg, even and Martin, Zanchetin, Rose, Boda. Boots is now on the comeback trail as well after his problem, and Le Pivot and Robin have had problems and are 3 laps back. So what are we going to see next? It is Canas, who's got it all to do. He's 5.8 seconds behind. He did gain, as you know, he lost the 10th second last time round, so he needs to try and gain this time. 36.2 last time round for Ongaro, and this time it is a 36.3. Just so you know that Superpole with a 36.1. So these guys are on Superpole time. And obviously the track has obviously got a bit cooler, so you've got a bit of speed. And we have a fastest of 35.3 from Ronefalk. So his fastest time is 0.8 faster than he did in Superpole. And he's constantly the fastest car. I think powered by pure rage at the moment, Ronefalk. And he did a 0.6 faster than either of these two drivers. Canas comes down the hill in a kind of, what am I going to do next sort of way. And goes over the line now and loses another 10th. to... Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Oh, what is going on here? Canas, he's suddenly just lost the whole thing. I mean, that's, again, a bit of unluck, but a little bad luck, and he has managed to get it back on its wheels again. That's 2 or 3 more seconds he's lost. And I'm sure Canas, on both those accidents he's had, I'm sure he's thinking to himself, what on earth happened there? I didn't really do anything different I've done before. But this is the point. All these people saying, oh, what you need is a blown-out surface. A blown-out surface just produces very random results. Sometimes you need a proper surface. One of the cars is being run back. I think it might be Le Pivot. Who is that? It's being run back as they come in. So now it's 8.5 seconds on go. It was the Pivot. Pivot lost a wheel. That's quite a key part of any car, having 4 tyres on the car. I'd always recommend that to all of you, unless you're running a Reliant Robin. Okay, so now it's 8.5. Is it beyond thought that Ronefalk could make that half minute up on Canas? I think it is. I think it's unlikely. He is quick, but I think that's just going to take too much. Be interesting to see where he gets to. I actually think that possibly... So let's go and see Keenan. He's got an update from the pits.
Yeah, looks like James Lapavo has had, for the Beach RC team, has had a retirement. He looks like to have broken something on the rear. Unfortunate for the young man from Guernsey.
Yeah, that's for sure. As Canas actually puts a lap back on Ronefalk, so Ronefalk's charge has stopped. I'm not quite sure why. I think he must have had an accident himself in the last couple of laps. Ronefalk's the age of 37, so he's had a couple of bad laps in fairness. So Ronefalk comfortable in third, I think. We'll find out when they cross the line in a second. No, Berg's taken third back from him. So, oh, no, Juan Carlos. No, no, no. Oh, dear, another accident, another problem. That's real. Never seen it before. I've never seen Juan Carlos make so many mistakes. I know these cars are hard, these are hard cars to hold on to on this circuit, but you know it's not going to be hard to see why Ongaro is winning this race. Canas really just having problem after problem. His own making. It's lucky he's got a massive cushion, so it doesn't matter too much. But yeah, well, Ronefalk had a terrible lap himself last time with a 44. Berg's doing 36s now. So let's try and move forward. Oh no! Over the line. Let's try and move forward to Ronefalk with the red numbered Mayarko, because I think he's in a battle with Berg at the moment. So we can find Ronefalk. He's got the red numbered Mayarko. See, there he is. Ash is just about to come onto the dirt section now. He's the second of the white cars. This is the battle for third and fourth between Hampus Berg and David Ronefalk. They are both... Oh, well, that didn't last very long, did it? With Berg's taken fuel, ruined our chance for a bit of a battle. Let's stick with Ronefalk. See, he's got some real pace at the moment. Actually, after that last crash, he got very, very annoyed. He did 35.2, so he's just done the fastest lap again. I get the impression that it is absolutely S or bust here from Ronefalk. He's pushing to the nth limit. He doesn't really care. I think he probably thinks he's got third. That's what happens when he pushes the nth limit. Things go wrong. I think he probably thinks he's got third. But, you know, also, yeah, he's got a nasty bump. Again, you know, this blown-out surface is random and you can't push. One person doesn't need to push is Davide Ongaro, who was neck and neck up until about, 8 minutes ago, and now has a 15-second lead. Ronefalk 28 seconds behind Canas after they both made mistakes. Be interesting to see when I have no idea where his fuel strategy is, because of course he's kind of off kilter off that. Oh, teeter-tottering 2 wheels with Ronefalk there. He's off fuel strategy after the problems he had. My guess is when he does stop, he'll still come out ahead of Berg, mainly because he's got that kind of cushion on him anyway. And down the straight comes Ronefalk. So not sure how long. I have no idea when it's going to stop. It's you know, I just know it's going to happen in the next couple of minutes. Obviously, he's in a run of traffic. His next car is coming up to lap. Is his nemesis Tom Robas. So that should be interesting. There we go. So moving on onto the multi-service. Got better that time. He did 36.2 last time, even with that reverse turn. So in pure pace, there's no doubting this is the fastest car. Unfortunately, they've made a bit of a mistake on fueling. 35.6. Gained a lot on Canas again there, and I'm not sure I think Canas must have fueled last lap. So, because that came down, the gaps come down to 16 seconds. I'm pretty sure that's Canas fueling to lose that much time. So, Ronefalk now absolutely throwing it down. So, if you want to see a car being driven at complete maximum attack on a very tricky circuit, look at this. I bet if we went and looked at Ongaro, we'd see a car being driven with absolute smooth precision. 3/4 second a lap slower than it needs to be, but drifting towards what looks like another, though many a slip, many a problem, another endurance final win. But that's Ronefalk around again with a 35.9. Down he comes. And round they go. Right, so. Driving hard. Oh, now the problem he's got now is he's trying to go fast, but he's also trying to get past all the traffic in the world. Now, who is he behind at the moment? So he comes onto the straight. Behind Brandon Rose. Oh no, hang on, upside down goes. That's Canas. He's just gone past Canas. That car that rolled upside down was Canas. What is going on? I think Ronefalk's in second. Ronefalk is in second. Canas had another problem, and we saw him going flying past there. I thought it was Canas. I couldn't believe my own eyes at 10 seconds. Canas is now behind Ronefalk. Ronefalk is in second place. I have no idea what's gone wrong with Canas. My guess is he may go back past Ronefalk if Ronefalk goes for fuel in the next couple of laps. Canas, we're waiting for his lap time, waiting for him to come over. He still hasn't scored, still hasn't been scored. Yeah, let's go and see Keenan.
Yeah, unfortunate for the Frenchman, Tom Robin. He broke his car on pit entry, and he's out of the race.
So we've lost Robin, but my question is, Canas has dropped down to fourth. He's behind. This is ridiculous. Canas did a 53-second lap. No idea what happened to Canas. He must have had we saw him having half a disaster. He also had a previous disaster, lap. Canas had just dropped like an absolute stone out of contention. To the extent now where our leader is Davide Ongaro, who is half a minute ahead of David Ronefalk, who flamed out on about the 8th lap. This man was a lap down. He's still quite a long way behind Ongaro. He's in second. Never seen anything like this, and I have no idea what has caused the self-destruct of Juan Carlos Canas. He must have a car problem. Need to see what he's going to do on this lap. Last one was a 53. That includes 18 seconds of issues. What has gone wrong with Canas? What's happened to the car? What's happened to him? And he's overdue again as the fuel goes in for the Mayarko. So that will put him back out. Good stop there for... And Canas, I think, is missing. I think Canas is out of the race. Can we get up to Canas's pit lane? I'm sure Canas is out of the race. So Canas has dropped out. I can see some work there with his dad and the car. Yep, we've lost Juan Carlos. He's out of the race. Let's find out how that happened.
Okay, está bien. So I have the update on Canas.
Go for it, Keenan.
Yeah, I just talked to Canas's father. He said something is broken in the car, but he's out and done for the race.
Well, it did look. I don't know whether it broke, where it broke. Certainly, those last 2 laps were very long. We did see him throw it into the boondocks a couple of times. So we're in a situation where we've lost Canas now. That's shocking. That is really shocking. I'm incredibly surprised by that. So what was a 3-way fight for the lead has become a 1-way fight for the lead, and a 1-way fight for some sort of unrealistic kind of comeback, which Ronefalk's going after the moment. Ronefalk's only 6 seconds ahead of Berg, but I think he's got a fuel stop on him as well. And it's a Mayarko 2 and 3 at the moment. Even and in 4th. Martin's in 5th, and Zanchetin, Boots, Rose, Boda. We've lost 3 cars. This track has turned out to be a bit of a car killer. 3 gone, Canas, Robin and Le Pivot. Ronefalk now in traffic. I don't know really what his team are telling him now. They're probably saying, look, you've got second. And realistically, I don't think you're going to get the extra half minute on Garo. Traffic ahead of him is Actually, this is what this is now. This is Ongaro and Ronefalk. So Ongaro and Ronefalk are right together. They're exactly a lap apart. So Ongaro and Ronefalk are in your same picture. This we would have hoped would have been the race. It's not the race because they're a lap apart. Never thought I'd see, but more importantly, they're first and second. Who thought we'd see that either? Honestly, the weirdness of this race knows no bounds. Boots, of course, is also flaming. He's climbing up the field again to 7th. Now, Ongaro, he doesn't let Ronefalk go, but Ronefalk gets past him due to the fueling. So just checking and have you a look there. Car is up and down, and away it goes. Much more circumspect this time for Ongaro, so he doesn't crash at the exit. So they were exactly a lap apart, but in first and second, because Canas had some issues and broke the car. Boots had a flame as well, and no one else has really been on the pace. Ronefalk did 36.1 that time round. Let's see where he goes. I mean, he's got about 19 minutes and 46 seconds, so he's got, I suppose, 30 laps to go. Perhaps they might even have 40 laps to go, actually. Let's say 35. So he needs to gain a second a lap. Can he do it? Probably yes, actually, but but it's actually probably more than second. He needs a second lap and a pit stop. So somehow he's got to try and gain a second a lap on Ongaro. And this will be the first one, the 35.4 last time round. This will be the first top one that counts because the last one was Ongaro's pit stop. So the gap will unnecessarily come down at this point. Round they go. So over the line goes Ronefalk. He's on a 35.5. And he's made a mistake. He's got away with it. And across the line, if we look at this one, he goes, wow, he was already grip rolling as he went over the jump, then carried the grip roll on in the air and sucked down and landed it. And it was a 36.6 for Ongaro. So Ongaro was a second slower, but then this lap is not going to be any quicker at best for Ronefalk with that error. Thing is, if you are pushing as hard as he's now pushing, the chances of running clean are virtually zero. So he's just going to carry on pushing. And this time round, he clocked probably a 39.3. He lost 3. That was a much more serious error than it looked. It cost him 3 seconds. I thought it only cost him about a second and a half. But he knows what the business is here. He knows what he has to do. He's 20 seconds ahead of Berg. The Berg evening thing may become interesting towards the end of the race. We'll keep an eye on that with 18 minutes and 2 laps left. The 36.2 for Ongaro. Now, the thing that will be a problem for Ronefalk is if he comes in now, he'll end up back behind the Italian again and have to overtake him to unlap himself once more. 35.6 for Ronefalk that time round. 36.4 for Ongaro, so 0.8 came back. The problem is you make a 3-second error, it takes 4 laps to get it back, and that's 4 less laps you have to actually race. So sometimes you say, I don't want to see people doing endurance, I don't want to see people holding back. Well, you're not seeing anyone holding back now because you're seeing Ronefalk absolutely going for it. 0 to lose because he's so far ahead of his teammate Berg in third. All the other faster cars have also hit problems. So you can just put it down. And that was a 36.3. We saw that minor error coming off the muddy section. And it's a 36 flat for Ongaro. So Ongaro's having none of this. He's not going to do the romantic thing and let us see a comeback, at least get really close towards the end. 2 more little clips. We got a free pass there from Tom Robin as Robin spun off. Slightly unsighted by the marshal, I think, there. So Ronefalk continues his run of push. Oh, got away with that one. Don't think he even lost much time. He almost got bounced back onto the line. And he did a 36 flat. So let's see what happens when Ronefalk crosses the line. He's on 36.1. So the gap's still 29 seconds. He's not really gained. It's almost like absolute maximum attack for Ronefalk is too fast. And perhaps he needs to come back 3 or 4 tenths from maximum attack and just try and gain half a second a lap. I realise it's an absolute... To win this or to get even closer, he's going to have to do more than that and another error. And really, this is kind of like unsurprising. When you're pushing as hard as this, it just goes wrong. But yeah, I give him everything for doing it. That's what I do. I will push as well. In for fuel he comes now. Fueled up JQ. This is going to put him behind, a lap behind Ongaro again. And the glorious romantic comeback is not going to happen without an Ongaro problem. But give him his due, Ronafalk. He's really, really pushed it. And he's really, really tried. So let's have a little look at Pekko Evenen in the green. He's number 20. He's number 22. He's come back from a very bad. He's actually dead last at the start. He's just, I think, going about to. Yeah, he's turning. I believe he's about to go. Where is he? He's got the aerial, hasn't he? He's got the aerial. There he is. He's in the infield. So Evenen, yes, it's not worked out in the final. It may work out to a fourth or a fifth. I think he's current. It says 9 seconds. But I think they were a stagger of fuel stocks with Berg. But he's been incredibly impressive all through this weekend. He's very unlucky not to have won a heat. He's led 3 heats. He was, I think, third in the rush. He was second in another heat. So he's really, really looked good on this Mayako chassis, a car he doesn't know. He was actually sponsored by a hobby shop in Finland, so he's kind of chassis independent because he was running an associated at the Euros where he qualified for the A main. I think he finished 7th or 8th. And he's come here fresh from just missing out becoming European large-scale off-road champion when his car ran out of petrol 4 corners from the end. And it is petrol in large scale. He backs up with an A final in the 1/10 electric, so he made the A final in all 3 size classes of RC cars in the European Championship finals. And he's had a bit of a roll. He was only 3 seconds behind Berg till he did that, so I think this is the battle he wants to get involved with, the Henning-Berg battle. Even stymied in this race by an absolutely awful start where he's running 11th. And the problem is you've got to battle your way through traffic and you can't just push your way through, you have to pass it. Ronafalk, again, isn't really gaining on Gara at this point. I'm not sure when he might switch it off and just say, no, I'll get to the end and see what happens next. Berg's lead over Evenen will go out a little bit, goes out to 5 after Evenen's mistake on the last lap. Track blowing out more and more every single lap on those old berm sections. Obviously, the track is staying almost completely consistent on the carpet section. I mean, the temperature changes have changed the grip. So there has been an element where they've been just micro-tuning it, but they've all been trying just to get the thing tuned into the track generally and not worrying about the micro-tuning for the tyre temperatures. So Pekko, looking strong, looking consistent, but he's not really had the luck. I say not the luck, he's going to currently on for a top 5, 25 seconds ahead of Lee Martin with a new Agama. Let's try and go one car further forward. We'll just go the jump now, I think. We're just trying to pick up Berg and the other white car. Is that him? I think that's not him, is it? That's not him, is it? I know it might be one of them. It's the white. It's the what we need is the Mayako, the pure white machine. I think that may be one of the many associated. My screen's a little bit colour blinding me at the moment. But Hampersberg. Let's see if we come down the straight now. Is this Hampers as he comes down the straight? It isn't. It's 31. So where is Hampers gone? Oh, Hampers has gone for. Has he gone for fuel? Yes, he has. So Hampers has just taken fuel. That's why I couldn't see him. He was in the pit lane. There he is. Hampers now left and right. And will be up and over the jump. So down he goes. And now into the first of the 2 carpet sections of this track before we go. So Hampers put in some good performances really in the heats. But he's showing some great skill to actually get the car up and 3rd overall. And I think he'll be chuffed to bits if he finishes there. Definitely, incredibly improved over his previous performances. He was, of course, win the European Championship for RC2 in the first season of RCGP. Look, it was very, very good in Italy. He actually qualified for the Superpole in the Italian race as the 3rd overall qualifier. Perhaps I think Hampers still not as strong in 2 elements, one of which is adjusting his driving style to cars that aren't quite to his liking, which is why it's taking him until today to get up to speed. And the second thing, I'm not quite sure, and this is no criticism because he hasn't got the experience of how good he is in wheel-to-wheel combat. But for driving around quickly and balanced and safely and cleverly, I give him maximum marks. So Ongara's been in for fuel, which means temporarily Ronafalk's not a lap behind. This is your 3rd place man, Hampersberg. So it's Italy, Sweden. It's associated Mayako. Evenen is a long way back. He's 6 seconds back from Berg. So, we've been singing the praise of Evenen. Well, we need to sing the praise of Berg as well. Both young men from the Scandinavian area. Sweden and Finland. Berg, pretty much though, a 1/8 Nitro IC special. You didn't want to do that, Hampus. Whilst it hasn't cost you a position, it's cost you 2 bits of traffic going past you. It's so easy to do. It's just slight misjudging, and you go over the pipe, and suddenly you're spinning and spinning and spinning because you're under power at that point. So I think Berg's already been let through by those 2 bits of traffic. So that's irritating for them because they don't have to let him through. Not a massive gain, in fairness, on that after that mistake by Evenen. So I'm getting impressed that Evenen may just be losing a little bit of pace in the car. Ongaro is actually a little bit quicker than Ronnefalk in the lead at the moment. And the gap between Evenen and Berg, it was 4.08, 3.5. So Evenen is now just beginning to creep up, and this could be the battle for the final podium slot. It's a reasonable gap, but with 10 minutes to go, who knows where it will go from there. Zanchetin into 7th, Boda in 8th. All over the track. If you try and control it as it bucks and weaves, because you have to remember is on the dirt sections, these cars are not set up correctly. They have to set them up for the ultra high grip they find on the carpet, and they're set very low, and then suddenly you're on a rough as anything dirt surface with broken boulders and clay, and your car's not really designed for that at any point when you're running low ride height and stiff cars. So you have to hang on for dear life on that part, because the gains on the carpet are far greater than the losses on the traditional blown out oiled clay. And Berg manages to contain a lead. Let's just, we've got a couple of minutes, and this is just staying quite steady. Let's see if we can find Lee Martin in car 12 with the new Agama. I think he's just gone over the big jump, just going over the fire grate now, and he's going through the infield, the number 12 machine. There we go, Frank's got him, and he's coming over the screed section. So this is the Agama N1, and I think first thing I would say, this is a prototype car with prototype parts, and perhaps we shouldn't have come to it. It's a prototype car with prototype parts. And last in the final is going to be a big plus point. That's what took him out of the second leg of the sprint finals yesterday, was a broken 3D part in the gearbox. The full pre-production will be happening soon. So Martin in 5th. I think he'd be happy with 5th. He probably won't be happy with the distances and the gaps and the time. We'll be happy with the fact the car is looking like it's going to finish. I know there's 7 minutes to go, plus 2 laps. But, you know, it's a difficult track. And there has been no home field advantage to this car because this track only went down 2 weeks ago. They've not really had any chance of practice. Lee said, yeah, I've been at the track a lot, but all I've been doing is nailing pipes, cleaning things out, dragging things away. And just to give you an idea, Martin did a 36.7. His best lap for Martin, actually, is the 35.9. So he has had found some pace in the car. So Martin carrying on going. Now, what is getting interesting is whether the Berg and Evenen fight has suddenly reignited itself. At the moment, I can't see either of them, so the answer is probably no. They're looking a little bit closer. So let's switch back to Evenen, about to go down the main straight with the aerial. And that's the Evenen car, because he's now got a little bit closer. It was about 0.8, it's now 1.5, and that is your battle for the final podium position. Those two cars beautifully arcing together there. 6.5 minutes to go. Still a very relaxed lead for Ongaro. And there's Berg, and I'd say it's a little bit closer this time. So Evening can smell blood. Can Finland beat Sweden? And not if you go on the pipe, you're not going to do, that's for sure. So Evening got away with that one. Who's coming in here? Who's been brought in? What car is that? That's Zanchetin. Okay, so he's lost Zanchetin. Oh dear, that's the teammate there of Evening, dropping out of 7th. So again, more fuel. I wonder whether something in the temperature or something in the track has meant that their fuel calculations they would have done during the various practices have just been proven off now. Because it's getting cooler, so theoretically you should get better mileage. But that's the third car we've seen just run out of fuel. to join Ronefalk, Boots, and of course now Zanchetin. So interesting. Now Berg under quite a lot of pressure because you can probably see that wavy area behind him in his peripheral vision. And the lead is 1.3. And let's hear from Keenan now about Alex Zanchetin.
Yeah, Alex looks like he ran out of fuel. It's been the name of the game here. A lot of guys run out of fuel. I guess this cooler temperatures caught him off guard or something, or just the full throttle action here on the high traction track.
Yeah, I think there'll be some. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there from Berg, and suddenly we nearly saw an opportunity for Even to take this final step on the podium. What's happened to Ronefalk? Ronefalk's gone. Where's Ronefalk gone? Ronefalk's dropped out of contention completely. Where's Ronefalk? We've lost Ronefalk. That's Berg being fueled from second, but where's Ronefalk? Is it a transponder error? I can't see him. Where is Ronefalk? We need to find him. He's back on the track again, but what happened? Was it another flame for Ronefalk? Need to find out from Ronefalk's team crew what happened. He suddenly dropped back down to sixth again. And Hampusberg is in second. So we need to find out. I need to know from the crew what has happened to Ronefalk the second time.
So the report from Ronefalk's pit is he had a screw come out of one of his rear hubs, unfortunately.
So a technical failure to go with his fuel failure, screw out of the rear hub. Well, he's not had any luck at all, is he, really? But now it looks like Hampusberg is running second. He's only a second ahead of Evenance. This is the second and third place battle. The two young Scandinavians, I think they're both 18. They might be both 19, or one 18 and one 19. They've probably got a combined age of 37 anyway. Oh, and a mistake by Hampusberg, and through goes Evening, and Berg has crashed into the pit lane. Evening moves into second place. Oh, he came out, and that's a big change with 3 minutes to go. Pekko Evening goes into second. Hampusberg now got it all to do chasing back. I think they both had their last stop. I might be wrong. There might need to be some fuel. Ongara is going to win this race by whatever a country mile is in Italian. I suppose a country multi-kilometre. As everyone else has fallen by the wayside, apart from the two youngsters. Pekko Evening looking for second, Hampusberg looking for third. In fourth place, that youngster Lee Martin, and Elliot Boots back from a flame in fifth. But Pekko in second, 3 minutes to go and 2 laps. The lead being 3 seconds. So Berg, who looks so solid, made one mistake there. And it all changed again. Ongaro, just a 36.9. I'm sure he's absolutely dialed it back to nothing now because he has a lead of about, I think, 60 seconds, probably a minute in the lead at this point. And he's won this race by carrying on going. Carrying on going fast, but carrying on going. And if you can keep your head while all the mounts are losing their fuel and their screws of their suspension and something crashing and going wrong, then you will win. So Ronefalk has dropped to sixth, so Ronefalk still actually does have, despite 2 breakdowns, still does have a reasonable amount of points from the championship. Whatever happens, he wasn't going to go finish lower than 9th because the last 3 aren't running, which is Robin, Canas and Le Pavot. So just to remind you, Ongaro leads by a minute from Even. Even is just 2.2 seconds ahead of Berg. Then it's 26 seconds back to Martin, 14 more seconds back to Boots, a lap more to Ronefalk. Boda is a lap further back from that. And Zanchetin 13 seconds further behind that. A bit bad luck. Bit of bad luck in many ways for Hampus then. I was looking at the corner. A car got marshalled in between them. So if you look behind Evening now towards Hampus, there's the car between them. I'm just going to guess it's Brandon Rose. It may well not be, but it is one of the red and white cars. Might even be Lee, but let's find out. Oh, two wheels for Hampus there. I'll watch they come down. Who is that car in between them? Pekka goes round. Yeah, it's Brandon Rose in between them. Oh, he's rolled out of the way, which is convenient, but actually, oddly, lost a bit of time there. So, Pekko has 48 seconds and 2 laps to maintain this second place from his young Swedish opponent. Over the bricks. And dive into Pecco now. Anyway, I think these two guys, I know we've had our favourites or our well-known drivers crash. I certainly don't begrudge in any way these guys getting on the podium because they've both been brilliant over the last 2 events. Pecco particularly on his first RCGP event. Hampus has done what you need to do. When everyone else is crashing, just keep going. He's not necessarily lost his second position yet, third position. He may still get second position. As you see in the top right-hand corner, there's a man in absolute harmony with his car, and that's Davide Ongaro. We are down now to time expired, but there will be this and 2 more because Ongaro went past the line prior to 2 expiring. So, kind of need to keep an eye on this because it's getting closer again between Berg. And we are going to start with 2 to go. So there's 2 to go. Now we need to. We need to follow that. That's given us a bit of a luck. But I was going to say we need to stay really close on this one. But because I was worried this was going to change position, and we wouldn't be able to look and see what was happening with Davide Ongaro. But let's go and pick. Let's see if we can pick Davide up now for his last lap or so. There's one to go when he crosses the line. I'm not quite sure where Ongaro is at the moment. He's most of the way around the lap. He may be going into the. He's going into the touring car section now. Let's switch to Ongaro. Thanks, Frank. So this is Ongaro about to start his last lap. And it's been a fantastic, fantastic performance. The only person in the top drivers who actually managed to run clean for the 58 minutes and 2 laps. Just superb. Really tight battle with Ronefalk. Then a really tight battle with Canas. But both of them had problems. Both of them made mistakes. And the net result is that your world champion, your reigning RCGP champion, has made a mistake on the last lap. Reigning RCGP champion is going to win the endurance final and thoroughly well deserved. And a massive fillip for him going into the World Championship in 3 or 4 weeks' time. It's Davide Ongaro. He's winning the endurance final. He deserves it. A superb performance by the Scampi. Look at the excitement of Mao's flag waving. Brilliant stuff. So let's wait and see who comes down the rest of the field. It's going to be a second place for Martin has finished in 4th. Let's see, I'll just look out the window to see where we can see. Even finishes in second. And in 3rd place, so let's see, we talked to our top 3 running down the hill in a very Kate Bush style. But that's a great win for Ongaro. Great win for Ongaro. So it's Ongaro who wins this race. Pecco even in 2nd. Hampus Berg is in 3rd. Lee Martin is in 4th. Elliot Boots is in 5th. David Ronefalk is in 6th, despite everything that happened. Clement Boda is 7th. Alex Anchetin is 8th. Brandon Rose 9th. Tom Roban 10th. Juan Carlos Canas is 11th. And James Pavot is in 12th. And there was basically 3 cars that didn't make it and very few cars. The cars that ran clean are in the first 4 positions, and that's how it should be. Brilliant performance by Ongaro. Love seeing Ivan getting on the podium. Love seeing Berg getting on the podium. Martin, he ran clean. And then you've got Boots, had a flame. Ronefalk broke down and a flame. Clement Boda had a number of problems. Antonio had a flame. Rose, I think, also broke down and had a flame at one point. The others didn't finish. And now I think we get a chance to go and see with... and let's go and talk to Keenan with our winner. Let's have a chat with our top 3 with Keenan K. White down in the pit lane.
What a great victory for the Italian and the reigning RCGP champion and world champion. Congratulations, Davide. Tell us a little bit about your race.
I mean, it was super difficult because 1 hour here is like driving 110 for 1 hour. But then I saw David had a flame out, and then Elliot, and then Juan Carlos. We fight some like 20 minutes with Juan Carlos, and I tried to don't make mistake. He was faster than me maybe. But then something happened to him, so yeah, that race. So,
what changes did you make for your car coming into this long 60-minute final?
I mean, we made a change this morning because this morning the track was like, with more grip. So we tried to make the car like easy to drive. But today for the qualifying was really hot, so I had no steering in the qualifying. So I just go back with the yesterday's setup.
Okay, so tell us what your plans are going on in the next couple of weeks. You have the Worlds coming up. This is to give you the most needed some confidence going into the Worlds.
Finally, yeah. I mean, this was a really good training for the World. I mean, 1 hour here is really hard. And yeah, looking forward for the World. I mean, now stay positive.
Well, congratulations and great win.
Thank you very much.
Pecco. Here we are. Come over here, Pecco. I know you're tired. So we're here with the ringer, Pecco. Bad start, good finish.
Yeah, I was dead last on the first lap, so it was good recovery, super good. It was awesome.
How do you change your attitude and your mind and focus to come back from such a bad start?
I just keep it clean. That was the key point. Couple mistakes, but otherwise the race was so good for me.
Also, do you think JQ is going to be happy with you?
Yeah, he was happy, super happy.
Well, congratulations on the second place and good job.
Thank you.
We have one more. Hampus. Well done, Hampus. You beat your master, but very good job, very good run. You did it when it counted. And congratulations on your third place.
Yeah, thank you. A few mistakes too much. I had like the second place in the ball, but I made a mistake in the middle, and it's so far to the marshal to run, so I lost a lot of time there. And I had a nice margin there to Pecco, but yeah, then the last 5 laps I closed in, then I hit the pipe and was on the roof. Then I finished third, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, a good run for you. I think your best finish here in RCGP gives you a boost of confidence going into the Worlds. You did have to beat your master, I would say, not your master, but your mentor. A little bit of bittersweet for you, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, David. I know David had a speed, so a bit unfortunate for him. He deserved that win today, I think. But yeah, I'm happy that it went good for me. I had a good weekend in Gusago as well, but the server that broke, so I couldn't finish the race when I was 4th there. So yeah.
Well, good job, and enjoy the celebration. All right, thank you all for tuning into the pit lane, and we're going to throw you back to Nick.
Thank you, Keenan. Great stuff. And yeah, it was lovely to see both Pecco and Hampus so chuffed with their results. And I think David Ongaro probably rather pleased as well. So that is the end of the racing. But we do still have the prize we were going to give you live. Don't think you don't get your value here on RCGP. We're going to have a live move to the presentations. But first, let's look at the points. Well, Runafalk is on 98 points and Ongaro 91. So a big gain in points for Ongaro, but still hasn't managed to tip past Runafalk. And in fact, the only problem is, despite Runafalk winning the sprint, the rush and yesterday, the net effect was that problem that he had right at the end, that the rear hub, has meant he's lost points during this particular event. So it's 98 to 91 Ongaro. Boots up to third with 24. Canas, absolute disaster for his championship, falling out. You know, he could well easily have had 75 or 80 points if he hadn't had that problem in that race. He's now level with Hampus Berg, who's had a great 22-point haul, a great 23-point haul for Lee Martin. The Yagama team absolutely on fire with a new car. Born Horse isn't here. Sanchitin 22 more points, and Pecco even 31 points from 31. So he is the third highest scorer at this entire event over the weekend here at Nemo, and 12 points for Tom Robat to add to the 15 he got in Italy. And in the teams, Team Associated Scampi Rosso with that win for Ongaro, and the problems for both Boots and Juan Carlos Canas have taken over as our team leaders by 1 point from the S-Works factory team. Marco 24 points back despite Hampus Berg's fantastic performance, and they have gained overall this weekend, but it could have been so much better had Runafalk managed to not have those 2 problems, or just one of those 2 problems, not have them. JQ got 53 points. The team with Jancicic and Pecco Everton, but particularly impressive, and let's hope that they stick with those 2 guys for the final American round. They're on 108. 102 for Beach. They got 22 with Boda and Le Pavot. And Lee Martin had a really good weekend, and that's why Nemo have got an extra 37. But they are currently in 6th, but we do have another round to go over in the beginning of October from a mystery venue in America, which I'm pretty sure will be announced in the next week or so. But we look forward to seeing you there. But stay tuned, because coming up next, it's the glorious prize ceremony.
Yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my props. You ain't got a soul, you lacking the spirit. You talk out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I would really hate for you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and win a synonym. So if I ever win again, it's no I did the minimum. I didn't have to sell my soul. Oh, yeah. Please don't play no games with me. It was never about the fame to me. They needed the best, so they came to me. Whoa, who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the vibe, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. My girl so proud of your boy when they ask, is that your man? Yeah, that's me. And if I'm taking a shot, I don't miss. Who knew I would be at the top like this? And no one made my goals for me. But I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. Cause
Okay, next up will be the presentations for RCGP. Can I ask all the RCGP drivers to actually be upstanding for this? Because we're going to have a group photo at the end. So we'll start with the top three. We'll have a photo of all of you here afterwards. So in third place, Hampersburg. All right. In second place, Pekko Ivanen. And your TQ is David Runnefalk. And whilst you're here, the points leader is also David Runnefalk still. How much a critic can one man have? But your winner of round 6 here at the Nemo Raceway for Scuderia Scampi Rosso Associated, Davide Ongaro! Okay, before we do the champagne, give all the RCGP drivers please for a group photograph, please. Clement, James, Alex. We can wrangle the drivers for a quick group photograph, and then we can let you spray everyone. Basically, we're giving you more targets. Not yet. No, not yet. Lee, thank you. Where's Brandon? There's Brandon. Fantastic. Just go in for a group photograph, please. Let's go. No. No. Do you think there's a common problem he has? As well, to be honest. We have the RC2 European Champion. Ooh, thank you. Oh, I like you. And that is Thomas Musso. Tell his French more champagne. Thanks, guys. So we'll see you for the press conference in a few minutes. On the stream, thank you very much for watching the weekend. We'll be back in a few weeks from a mystery location in the US. Well, it's not a mystery much longer. You'll find out next week. Thank you for watching RCGP. Hope you had a good time as we did, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.